What do you make of the Sports Illustrated report of inappropriate workplace behaviors in the Mavericks organization?
It was a very thorough investigation, dozens of sources, and it becomes clear that the Mavs had a very hostile workplace environment toward women, untenable, and that there were leadership breaches along it. I would say to you, after talking to John L. Wertheim, one of the authors on the radio, that these stories are very hard to get published, that he had more information that he couldn't quite prove and put in the story. But when I'm asking him, how bad was it really? He's like, it's worse than even we reported. The Mavericks right now are running for the hills, even Mark Cuban if he knew nothing, because this is not the thing that you want around your workplace in 2018.
This makes me profoundly sad in a lot of ways, and then we start to wonder why there aren't more women working in sports. This gentleman, Ussery, was at one point considered to be the heir apparent to David Stern. So what does it say not only about the Mavericks, but what the NBA thought about this guy?
Mark Cuban has been in contact with this reporter all day today. I mean, John L. Wertheim, not this reporter. I wasn't doing it like the 1960s journalists would do it. And Mark Cuban has been telling him, look, I was basketball ops. I know my basketball people. This was business ops. I leave the business ops alone. Mark Cuban is trying to separate himself from this through ignorance. And then that begs the question to you. If he didn't know anything at all, should he still be held accountable with shame and consequences if he really didn't know anything at all? Or is it more of an indictment that he didn't know?
How should Mav players feel after Mark Cuban said that they should tank?
They're going to get their checks to cash either way, and there is solace in that. But when you laugh at the idea that millionaires wouldn't be hurt, that they're out there just trying to win 9 games a season because you've incentivized losing. Among competitive people, if I make it an incentive to lose, the most competitive of those competitive people forced into a losing situation are going to get better at losing. You can't blame the business. You got to blame the business model.
Well, the mistake, though, is to think that players are actually trying to tank. They're not. They're trying to make sure they secure whatever the next job potentially could be, because not everybody is on one of these lucrative multi-year contracts. But tanking does work. We've seen this a number of times. I know that people don't like to talk about this. There's a reason that the NBA has kind of changed the format a little bit, where it looks like the top 3 teams will have the same percentage of getting the top overall pick. Hell, I would expand it even further. I'd say the top 5, then maybe you would deter it a little bit.
Cuban also admitted that at the end of last season, after they were out of playoff contention, they were losing last season, an unusual admission for him to make. And I wonder at the center of that, as Dirk Nowitzki has taken discount after discount to get players in there, they didn't get those players. And then all of a sudden, Harrison Barnes is getting all that money that Dirk Nowitzki left on the table. This is an inglorious end to his career surrounding him with this particular brand of sewage.
It is a smart business decision, though, tanking. We've seen it work before, and Mark Cuban understands that aspect of it, and so does the rest of the organization. But as far as Dirk is concerned, yeah, not necessarily the ending you'd want, but this was a guy that was tripping all over himself last week, running backwards on the floor. He's certainly not the all-star Dirk we remember.
Oh, now they decided to tank,
Now, yeah.
Why didn't they do it against the Heat in the finals?
Yeah, why didn't they do it back then? That would have been a better place to do it than that. Nobody was paying attention to Harrison Barnes, JJ Barea, and whoever played this year for him back then.